Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are diving into one of the most fascinating and high yield topics in radiology and neuroanatomy, the Circle of Willis. If you are a medical student, a resident or a neuroenthusiast, this video is going to make the Circle of Willis crystal clear, including its formation, branches, location and clinical importance. So stay tuned till the end because understanding this circle can literally help you save lives in stroke diagnosis and neurosurgical planning. Let's start with the location. The Circle of Willis is located at the base of the brain around the interpeduncular fossa surrounding the optic chiasma and pituitary stalk. It forms a polygonal anastomosis between the internal carotid and vertebro-basilar systems, ensuring continuous blood supply even if one major artery gets blocked. It's like nature's backup system for your brain, a vascular insurance policy. The Circle of Willis is formed by two systems joined together. The anterior circulation, which is formed by internal carotid arteries. Here we can see the internal carotid artery of right side. Here is the internal carotid artery of left side. And the posterior circulation, which is formed by vertebral arteries. Here you can see this is the right vertebral artery. Here is the left vertebral artery. Internal carotid arteries gives up middle cerebral artery and anterior cerebral artery. The two anterior cerebral arteries, here you can see these two anterior cerebral arteries are connected by anterior communicating artery. Here we can see this is the anterior communicating artery connecting two anterior cerebral arteries. And in the posterior part, the two vertebral arteries are connected to form the basilar artery. These basilar arteries finally gives up two posterior cerebral arteries. Here we can see this is the basilar artery which gives up to posterior cerebral artery, which are connected to the internal carotid artery by posterior communicating artery. Here we can see this is the posterior communicating artery. These arteries connect the internal carotid artery with the posterior cerebral arteries. Here we can see this is the left posterior cerebral artery and this is the right posterior cerebral arteries. These are connected by posterior communicating artery. Here we can see this is the left posterior communicating artery connecting the internal carotid artery with the posterior cerebral artery. Sometimes these posterior communicating arteries becomes larger, which have a special name, that is fetal PC. We will discuss it later on. So in short, the Circle of Willis is formed by 7 main arteries: right anterior cerebral artery, left anterior cerebral artery, anterior communicating artery, internal carotid artery right, internal carotid artery left, then posterior cerebral artery left, posterior cerebral artery right, and two other arteries, that is right posterior communicating artery and left posterior communicating arteries. The middle cerebral artery is not taking part in the formation of Circle of Willis. Why this Circle of Willis is clinically so important? Because it provides collateral circulation, meaning if one vessel is blocked, others can compensate. However, this compensation depends on the completeness of the circle. Studies show that a complete Circle of Willis is present in only about 30 to 40% of people. Aneurysms usually occurs in the anterior and posterior communicating arteries. If the collateral supply is poor, blockage in one artery can cause focal ischemia. Neurosurgeons must understand this anatomy for clipping aneurysms or bypass procedures. Let's summarize the Circle of Willis in one go. It's located at the base of the brain, formed by internal carotid and vertebro-basilar systems. It has anterior cerebral, anterior communicating, internal carotid, posterior cerebral, and posterior communicating parts. It provides collateral circulation, and protects the brain from becoming ischemic if one artery is blocked. If this video helped you to visualize the Circle of Willis better, make sure to hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Thanks for watching.